Well, one's more of a compliment. It's, to me, I'm an old-time parent of a 17-year-old who stutters. And to me, stutterers are just deeper people. You know, they have more insight into what is important in life, and you obviously emulate that for me. I see it in you. You're a deeper mensch. Okay. You know, some brain and some heart, I think. And then on the topic of Martha Stewart, she's not the most patient television host. Does she have patience to let you speak?
Yes. You know, there's, you know, I think that for me, when I'm on, you know, when I'm on something like that, I think it's always about the host. They can either make it really easy for me, or they can make it, you know, really rough for me. Martha was actually awesome. I was really nervous, you know, because we were actually doing a little bit of this the rehearsal, and like I had not met her yet, and she walked in, just to look at something over there, and I saw like the whole, all of the workers there just go like, you know, Mama's in the kitchen, Mama's in the kitchen. like who's mom? Like Martha's mom. Shh, quiet. Yeah, Mama's in the kitchen. That's the word. I was like, wow.
Your career, how your stutter has affected how you interact with people, say, in a kitchen, and what the differences were between when you were a line cook at the beginning of your career and somebody else was establishing maybe the pacing and the speed of the kitchen, and when you were able to open your own place, how that might have changed, because it seemed like when you're in a kitchen there's a lot of interaction back and forth, and whether and how your stutter affected how that flow or pacing went.
Well, you know, the issue there is that when you have to just like read, or you know, when you have to specifically, I think, talk with anybody, you're just focusing on that. But when you're working, you're focusing on other things, you know. So your mind, I think that happens like your mind is actually thinking of like all these other things. You know, some like slicing, and I'm doing this, and then somebody yells out something. I'm like, okay, I got it. Number 16. Okay, I'm gonna come on this, and it was almost never an issue. You know, for the reason that you stop thinking about it. You know, because you know when you have 13 things here you're looking at, and you have all these things on the fire, it's like there's no like how you're going to say something is like the last thing on your mind, you know. So I mean, I think that's the, I mean, I think that's a very telling thing, you know. When you're not thinking about it, it's really not an issue.
The first one is, at what age were you able to do the desensitizing thing, where you were able to just put it out there immediately? I have a stutter. And the second question is, if there had been a conference like this when you were a tween or a teen, how do you think you would have felt about that?
Oh, I think it would have been awesome. I mean, I think it really would have, you know. Like I went to, I went, you know, last they were therapists, and you know, more they were actual psychiatrists, you know. So they wanted to ask me how I was, how we were feeling and all this, and I didn't, I was like, no, leave me alone. I mean, I think that I would have loved something like this, to be able to hear stories and to be able to get up on stage and to not have anybody worry, how I said anything. I mean, I think of this. I don't know. I don't know when it started. I just know that I eventually started letting everybody know. I mean, not everybody. I mean, it was. This isn't something like I walk in, to a room and like my stutter, so, or I don't. It's I mean, I don't use it that often. It's just like in certain situations where it's actually where it's actually necessary. That's all. It's not. I don't. I don't like I don't like meet somebody new and say hi, I'm Marc. I stutter, so But even like now, there are adults. I mean, and I'm like hi, they're like, oh, what's your name? And I'm like, my name's Marc. And they're like, would you forget your name? No, I didn't forget my name. I stutter, oh, sorry, Yeah, it's like I want to hit them, but we'll soon be there. I started just washing dishes, and I actually liked it, and then I would, sort of watch the guys with the knives, and I'd be like, oh wow, that's actually sort of neat, and yeah, you know what? I mean, when I was younger, I was like, you know what, this is awesome for me. I can work in a restaurant, not gonna have to say a lot. That was also when there was no Food Network, and there was no. There was no Top Chef, and there was none of this, and then that whole phenomenon sort of happened, and like now, I mean, we're almost like the actors now that we have to get up, and everybody wants to hear us, So in essence, the field that I went into, where maybe early on that I actually thought, I am not going to have to say a lot here. It was actually the opposite, actually. So I think that I actually kind of screwed myself.
Marc, we have time for one or two more questions.
Okay.
Hi, thank you for your presentation this morning. I admire your courage in being able to go on TV shows, and I just wanted to ask you, if you ever had a chance, would you want to have your own TV show about cooking or your work?
I've been asked that always, and it's like, I don't really think so. Even if I was a non-stutterer, it's really not my thing. I am the happiest when I'm in the restaurants working, and that has nothing. That has nothing, I think, to do with my stutter or my non-stutter. When I'm on the road, also we do a lot of events. I don't like leaving. I just like to to actually stay in the restaurant. And that has nothing, you know, to do with anything other than that's what I like, I think.
Okay, chef, we have a question from a future chef here.
Okay.
Jim?
When you're in your restaurant, you talk to the to the people, or they, your starter kind of stop you from doing that.
Did it stop me from did it actually stop me from speaking to people?
Yes.
No, I mean, you know, there was always, you know, I mean, I think that it's always a little bit nerve-wracking when you know, when I opened up, you know, this was a new situation for me. You know, so I didn't really know, because I had never owned my own restaurant or anything, so I didn't know how it was actually going to work. But I think that I just you know sort of rolled into it, and I just realized that in order to be successful, that I was going to have to say things to people, you know, that I was going to have to, you know, get out there. So I think that I just went, you know, right away, and I started talking to people.
Mark, you may notice some of the children have very subtle. We were lucky at this conference to have the folks from DC Cupcakes, since we've talked a lot about the food networks and the channels and things like that. So the folks from the Food Network came in and gave the kids decorations and things to decorate their own cupcakes. So they donated 100 cupcakes. Apparently they were hungry, so there's about 60 left. But so these guys here created a giant cookie for their favorite Iron Chef.
Oh, thank you so much.
Made it for the chef.
Thank you very much for this. This is really special.
They'll share the recipe later.
Okay. I was going to say, this looks really good. Maybe I'll stick it on the menu.